The rules of passage. I sat in the dimly lit interrogation room, Rick's eyes drilling into mine, filled with suspicion and concern.
John, I don't understand what you're into, but it's not good. You've always been honest with me, but lately, things haven't been adding up.
I could feel the sweat forming on my brow, my heart thumping in my chest. I knew I had to tread carefully. How could I explain the mirror, the tunnel, the coins without sounding completely insane?
Rick, it's just a kind of investment. Not illegal, just unconventional.
Rick leaned forward, his face a mix of frustration and worry.
John, whatever it is, it smells bad. If you're in trouble, let me help.
Before I could come up with a convincing response, the room's lights flickered, and a chill ran down my spine. My phone buzzed on the table between us. I glanced at it, a message from an unknown number.
It's time.
My stomach dropped. The urgency in those 2 words sent my mind racing. I had crossed a line, taken too much, and now the consequences were coming for me. I stood up abruptly, pushing the chair back with a screech.
Rick, I have to go.
I stammered, backing toward the door.
John, wait.
Rick's voice was cut off as I bolted from the room, my heart pounding in my ears. I raced home, the city blurring around me, my thoughts a chaotic swirl. What had I done? The coins in my pocket felt heavier with every step, a burden that seemed to grow with my guilt. They were my ticket, my access to the mirror world, but at what cost? I burst through the door of my apartment, not even bothering to turn on the lights. I headed straight for the bathroom. The mirror was there, as always, but tonight it felt different, more ominous, as if it knew what was about to happen. I stood in front of it, my hands trembling as I reached up to touch the glass. Slowly, I slid the mirror to the side, revealing the dark tunnel beyond. The air was cold, and I could feel the presence of the station on the other side. I hesitated, my mind replaying the rules I had learned when I first discovered this otherworldly passage. Avoid the conductor, do not make eye contact, never speak to them. Steeling myself, I stepped into the tunnel, the darkness closing around me, the air growing colder with each step. The familiar sight of the old, decaying station loomed ahead, its flickering lights casting eerie shadows on the walls. I hurried toward the platform, my footsteps echoing in the silence. But before I could reach the tunnel that would take me back to my world, the conductor appeared, blocking my path. He was tall, his face obscured by the brim of his cap, his uniform tattered and stained. The air around him seemed to hum with a sinister energy, making my skin crawl. His voice was a low growl, filled with a malice that sent a shiver down my spine.
You have taken what does not belong to you.
I froze, my heart racing. His eyes, though hidden, seemed to bore into my soul. I knew I had to get away, but my feet wouldn't obey. The rules screamed in my mind, never speak to them. But the conductor reached out, his hand cold and skeletal as it brushed against my arm.
Payment is due here.
His voice echoing in the empty station. Panic surged through me, and I wrenched free from his grasp. I bolted for the tracks, my only chance at escape. A train roared out of the darkness, its lights blinding as it barreled toward me. I didn't hesitate. I leapt forward, hoping to land on the other side, to return to the safety of my apartment. But instead of hitting the cold tiles of my bathroom, I found myself still in the station, standing on the tracks. The train loomed over me, its screeching brakes deafening as it skidded to a halt just inches from my face. The conductor's voice echoed around me, cold and final.
There is no escape. You are one of us now.
I turned, but there was no sign of the tunnel, no way out. The station seemed to close in around me. You've broken the walls, growing taller. Now you must enforce them. The conductor stepped closer, his hand outstretched.
You have broken the rules, John. Now you must pay the price.
The realization hit me like a punch to the gut. The station had claimed me. My greed had bound me to this place. And now I was trapped, doomed to enforce the very rules I had broken. The conductor's hand touched my shoulder, and everything went black. When I opened my eyes, I was back on the platform, but it was different now. The shadows seemed to whisper to me, and the station felt alive, pulsing with a malevolent energy. I looked down and saw that I was wearing the same tattered uniform as the conductor, a heavy cap weighing down on my head. I understood now. I was no longer John. I was the conductor, bound to this cursed place, forever enforcing the rules that I had once foolishly disregarded. The next time someone entered the station, I would be there to greet them, to remind them of the rules. And when they inevitably broke them, I would do what I had to do, because that's how it worked here. In the station, there was no mercy, no forgiveness, only the rules and those who enforced them.